standard and of a level that would produce the kind of the potential and possible sources of funding to put through. Of tertiary institutions. I won't be.
Now, look at 6 A's by which you can maintain donor confidence, loyalty, and continuity of projects. The first one is you need adequate internal and external monitoring and evaluation components in your projects. So let's not assume that we go get monies, put together, do what we want to do, and we are answerable to nobody. The truth of the matter is that is one of the reasons why we don't get funding. So if you don't have a strong internal and external monitoring and evaluation component in your social impact project, please don't try. You must be ready, to be evaluated. You must be ready to be monitored. You must be ready to, go through that self-discipline, to present the face of an organization that is serious and that is going somewhere. You need adequate project communication with all stakeholders. One of the biggest challenges we have in delivering social impact projects is that the operators of the project treat the project as if it is a secret cult. When you do that, and you are not talking to stakeholders, you're not talking to, the people who the project is going to affect for good or for bad. You're not, talking to your funders. You're not bringing as many people on board as possible. What you are doing basically is that you are shutting out people, and that is going to have an effect on how well your project will succeed or be funded at all. You need to have adequate project management expertise in running the projects. I cannot overflog that issue. Let me just go. Then adequate sustainability component in the life cycles of the project. One particular sustainability component which your funders will look for is if their own funding cycle comes to an end, what will happen to your project? They want to see that you have in place plans to continue that project using other sources of funding, irrespective of what they have to give to you. All right. So you must show that you are creative enough, your organization is creative enough, to embrace a wider scope, of potential donors or potential inflow of funds. Then adequate transparency and accountability in operating the projects. Recently, we're having a discussion, and I had to do something. I said, look, okay, let's look at the accounts of certain charities in the UK for the year 2021. And we went into the Charities Commission website of the United Kingdom. And what did we find? At the click of a button, we could look through what various organizations were doing with the funding they get from their people. There's this particular organization. Let me not mention the name, but when we went into the accounts of the organization on the website of the Charities Commission of the UK, what we observed is that this organization had received close to £7.1 million for the year 2021 to carry out their charity work from various donors, from all parts, from their own harvesting of donors, their gala events and everything. They got together $7.1 million. Now they spent about 5.1, and then had an excess of $2 million, £2 million, pardon me, that is designated in pounds, in their account. To do what? To continue, the next year. And of course, they're still going to get in more. Now, let me ask you, if you were to be a funder of such an organization, and you see the account of the organization on the Charities Commission website, and you see how wonderfully well they are applying money and doing well in keeping the organization afloat, and and being transparent and accountable in operating their projects, what would that do to you immediately? If you were a potential funder or an existing funder, you will give them more. Okay? And this is something which we don't have in this part of the world. Our organizations are not audited. Our schools, our universities, nobody has access to any of the accounts. We are not privy to the accounts of non-profit organizations, NGOs. Nobody knows anything. There is too much secrecy. And I would want to say this, that, for those of you who will be interested in sponsoring charity bills, in your various countries. We have South Africans here today. We have people from Swaziland here. We have people from Nigeria here. We have people from Ghana. We have people from the UK. I greet all of you, and I'm really grateful to every one of you for coming. But I tell you this: if our countries do not have this level of transparency and accountability in operating our social impact projects, we are virtually going nowhere. And that is part of the reasons why we are not making the impact we should be making. That's part of the reasons why we are not getting the funding we should get. Because we are not transparent, we're not accountable. Go to the Charities Commission website of the UK, go to Charities Aid Foundation, you will see the accounts of every registered non-profit, non-governmental organization operating in the United Kingdom. Okay, then of course, to maintain donor confidence, loyalty, and continuity of projects, we are looking at adequate cultivation of relationships and engagements. Please, when donors give you money at the first instance, realize something. You've come with them, a very strong relationship. We must learn to cultivate more relationships. We must learn to engage further beyond receiving gifts. You see, beyond receiving gifts. So, of course, I know that, can be left to all our imaginations. There is one foundation I would recommend just for today, because our time is almost over and we need time for a few questions before we go. We really want to keep the time. The Draper Richards Kaplan Foundation, they do grants worldwide. I would like you to just, check them so that you can also look at what. Then the Global Innovation Fund is another. Then Ashoka, you can take down this website address, and then the Commonwealth, there's a Commonwealth site for Innovation for Sustainable Development Awards. And the last one I will give here will be the Australia Aid. It's a small grant direct aid program, but you can develop a relationship with them.